After 3 years with Chloe, we were, for all intents and purposes, a married couple, minus the certificate. I was secretly planning a proposal to make it official. That all changed the day I overheard her talking with her friends. Not bad, getting the campus heartthrob to be your practice boyfriend. I felt a flush of embarrassment and was about to slip away quietly when I heard Chloe's casual reply. I'm into Julian Reed, but he's not interested in girls who are new to the game. So, I figured I'd get some experience with Ethan first. I didn't say a word. I just walked away, dropping the pregnancy test results I'd picked up for her into the trash can on the corner. Chloe's words were a knife twisting in my gut. The pain was so sharp it made me want to double over. In a world at peace, words can be as devastating as any weapon. Back on the balcony, the conversation continued, the atmosphere turning strange. Leave it to the great Chloe Vance to use a guy like that just for practice. What's the difference between you and one of those ancient empresses? Keeping a boy toy. Chloe just laughed. So what? Did he get the short end of the stick? Another friend chimed in. Exactly. He didn't lose anything. In fact, he got a free ride for 3 years. Chloe shot back, annoyed. Oh, shut up, you perv. Don't you dare throw shade at me. Even if I was just using him for practice, I had real feelings involved. They all knew what she meant and started teasing her. Oh, listen to you. First time I've heard of screwing your way into having feelings. Then again, I get it. Ethan's a great guy in every way. The line of people who like him would stretch around the block. If you hadn't fallen for Julian first, you probably would have actually married him and settled down for life. How long are you going to keep this up with him? One of them asked. Chloe answered without a second thought. I'm not in a rush. I'll wait a little longer. What if he gets all clingy and won't let you go when it's over? Huh, he wouldn't dare. A clean break is his most dignified option. Otherwise, how could he possibly compensate me for 3 years of my youth? We've done everything you can do and things you shouldn't. Haven't I paid a price too? So, after you two break up, can I have him? You little tramp. So that was your plan all along. The laughter from the balcony grew louder. My fists were clenched so tight my knuckles were white. A sickening chill washed over me, a deep-seated cold that had nothing to do with the blazing June heat. I slipped away unnoticed, taking the stairs down 2 flights to a landing where I lit a cigarette, my hands shaking. 10 minutes later, the ground was littered with more than 10 cigarette butts. I shook the pack. Empty. Fuck. The frustration peaked, a wave of humiliation washing over me. Tears streamed down my face. Chloe's words echoed in my head, a relentless curse, crushing the last shred of my self-respect. If I hadn't heard it myself, I never would have believed that the sweet, affectionate girl who always put me first could be capable of this. No wonder she always dodged the topic of marriage. I never suspected a thing. I just thought the time wasn't right. She had given me everything, including herself. Turns out, I was just fooling myself. In today's world, none of that matters anymore. And here I was, naively planning to spend the rest of my life with her, only to find out I was just a stepping stone, a bit of gossip for her and her friends. I tried to console myself, telling myself I'd only been played emotionally, that I hadn't really lost anything. But the moment I pictured Chloe in another man's arms, the rage and despair came roaring back. I don't know how much time passed. My phone buzzed. It was Chloe. Might not be home tonight. Girls' night out, so I won't be checking in constantly. I didn't reply. She sent another message. Could you pick up my test results? I'm so scatterbrained, I keep forgetting. Sorry to make you run the errand, babe. I stared at the 2 messages, my mind a blank. For the past few weeks, Chloe hadn't been feeling well. She'd missed her period by over a month. She'd always said she had trouble conceiving, and from the moment we got serious, we'd been intimate countless times. Every single time, she insisted we not use protection. Don't you guys prefer it without a condom? Say it feels better, she'd told me. She said she loved me so much that she'd never refuse anything I wanted. Of course, I didn't object. First, I thought it was a sign of how deeply she felt about me. Second, if an accident happened, it would give me the perfect reason to propose. But now, clarity hit me like a ton of bricks. I slapped myself across the face twice. You're the fucking clown in this circus, so why are you still hung up on her? I pulled myself together and went to the clinic to get the report. When the doctor explained the results, I froze. Everything looks fine, just normal signs of pregnancy. It felt like the universe was playing a cruel joke on me. Just as our relationship was fracturing, she was pregnant. After all this time, all those chances, she gets pregnant now. My emotions were a tangled mess. I thought about when Chloe and I first met. We were closer than any couple I knew, inseparable. 3 years together had only seemed to make us stronger. I was used to her being there. She couldn't stand to be away from me. I had never once considered what my life would be without her. Maybe we could talk this through. Maybe there was still a chance. I held the report in my hand, the existence of this tiny new life solidifying my resolve. I decided I had to give us one more chance. Then a FaceTime call from my best friend, Leo, shattered everything. "Dude, where the hell are you?" he yelled. "Your girl is all over some other guy. It's disgusting. You need to get over here now." Leo flipped his camera. In that instant, my world began to silently crumble. Leo had asked me to go out for drinks tonight. As fate would have it, the bar he picked was the same one where Chloe was having her girls' night. In a dimly lit corner of the bar, Chloe was pressed up against a handsome guy. I knew immediately who it had to be: Julian Reed, the man Chloe truly loved. Chloe was dressed to kill tonight. A fiery red lipstick, her 5'9" frame amplified by a pair of red-soled heels, and a pair of rimless glasses that gave her a sophisticated, commanding look. It was a look that made you want to get closer. The two of them were slightly apart from the rest of the group, their conversation so intimate they looked like they were whispering secrets into each other's ears. Even through the screen, the air between them was thick with tension. My chest tightened. I thought it had just been a one-sided crush from her, but it was obvious he was interested too. The energy in the bar hit a high point, the dance floor pulsing with hormones. The neon lights and throbbing music seemed to pull everyone in. Unsurprisingly, as the mood intensified, Chloe and Julian started dancing together. Julian's hands began to wander, exploring her body with deliberate intent. Chloe didn't stop him, just shot him a look that was more playful than annoyed. They started flirting openly, touching, holding each other close. Then, swept up in the moment, Julian pulled her in and crushed his lips against hers. Her friends erupted in cheers, circling around them as if to shield them from the outside world. The two of them were lost in a deep, passionate French kiss, oblivious to everyone. Julian, still not satisfied, started kissing her neck. Chloe wrapped her hand around the back of his head, holding him there, not letting him pull away. I was certain that if they weren't in a public place, they would already be in bed. This went on for 5 minutes. 5 long minutes where I forgot to breathe, my eyes glued to the screen, not missing a single detail. My heart felt like it was being ripped out of my chest. I started laughing and crying at the same time, a complete mess. "Fuck Ethan. She's cheating on you." Leo's voice crackled through the phone. "I'm gonna go teach that bastard and bitch a lesson." He was about to charge over. "No," I managed to say, shaking my head. Leo looked completely baffled. He knew how much Chloe meant to me. He found a quieter spot and said, "What the hell is going on with you two? Weren't you just telling me you were about to propose? What is this?" My voice was flat, devoid of emotion. "I found some things out." Leo was my colleague and my best friend. We'd known each other since college, long before I met Chloe. Since he'd already seen it with his own eyes, there was no point in hiding it. Chloe had put on a great act. Her gentle, considerate persona was so convincing that for 3 whole years, I never realized she was in love with someone else. "What happened?" "She's cheating on you, and you're just going to sit there and take it? You can forgive that. It won't happen again, Leo." I cut him off, my voice calm. Since I can't change her, why not just let myself go? I remembered what Chloe had said on the balcony. A clean break is his most dignified option. I knew Chloe. Every word she said was calculated. Making a scene would only humiliate me further. It wouldn't change the outcome. If that was the case, then I would be the one to end it. I need to get away from Chloe. "Leo, I've decided to take that transfer with you. When do we sign the papers? The sooner, the better." Chloe's actions had utterly destroyed my last hope. I had turned down the chance to move back south to stay in New York with her, to avoid a long-distance relationship. New York is a city where an inch of land is an inch of gold. For a guy from a normal background like me, it was easy to survive but hard to get ahead. Most importantly, the northern climate never really agreed with me. When I first moved here, the change was so drastic I ended up in the hospital. Even now, I still haven't fully adjusted. Leo, of course, was ecstatic about my decision. Even though he was a born and bred New Yorker, he'd always dreamed of living in the South. We both worked at a tech company as lead engineers. The headquarters in New York had hit a growth ceiling due to various factors, while the southern branch was booming. A month ago, the company announced plans to send a group of key tech talent down there, promising a promotion to a senior management position within 2 years. The offer was tempting, but few people were willing to go. After all, who would want to leave New York, the city that symbolized the pinnacle of success? But for me, the transfer was a perfect opportunity, with the only downside being that I couldn't be with Chloe anymore. "A man's career is what's most important," Leo had said. "With the two of us down there, we'll practically run the place. We're guaranteed to make a name for ourselves. I've told you before, love requires money, especially with a girl like Chloe from a wealthy family. You think you can support her on your salary? Leo's words hit me like a splash of cold water. I realized that ever since Chloe and I started dating, she had been suppressing her true nature. For a girl from her background, owning luxury goods was normal. It's natural for women to love beautiful things. But I had never seen her buy a single luxury item. She even insisted on returning a Chanel bag I bought for her. I thought it was because she loved me so much that she didn't care about material things. But now I remembered how she would always steal glances into the designer boutiques whenever we passed by. It was all an act. To build her persona, Chloe had suppressed her own desires. All because I was her training dummy. I let out a long sigh, a sour feeling filling my chest. That's how it is. Once you spot the first crack, you start seeing the flaws everywhere. I couldn't handle Chloe. All I could do was get as far away from her as possible. It didn't matter where I went, as long as she wasn't there. The company transfer was my best way out. From now on, Chloe and I would be on opposite ends of the country, a world apart. Before I left the apartment for the last time that night, I tossed the pregnancy report into the trash. Even if Chloe was slow to notice, she'd realize something was off with her body in a month at most. And when she did, she wouldn't hesitate to get rid of it. I used to fantasize about this child's arrival. I thought that under those circumstances, Chloe wouldn't be able to avoid the question of marriage anymore. I was just being naive. Chloe, true to her word, didn't send me any more messages. A girl's night, she'd said. Funny how there was a guy there. I laughed at myself. So Chloe could lie after all. She always seems so innocent. You can know a person's face, but you can never know their heart. The living room was filled with photos of us. In every picture, Chloe was smiling brightly at the camera, a perfect, beautiful mockery of me. For a moment, a surge of rage made me want to smash everything in the apartment that reminded me of us. But in the game of love, the first one to lose their cool loses. I forced myself to calm down. If Chloe had been playing me from the start, then leaving with quiet dignity was the best counterattack. I tried to force myself to sleep, but I just tossed and turned, growing more agitated. It wasn't until the sky began to lighten that I finally drifted off. In my dream, I felt someone wrap their arms around me tightly from behind. I jolted awake. A pair of soft, white hands turned me over to face her. The face I had once longed for. My breath hitched. Chloe's unique scent filled the air, a soft perfume that confirmed she was really here. I had no idea when she gotten back. She had come in without a sound, or maybe I had just been sleeping too deeply. When she saw I was awake, a playful smile spread across her face. She cupped my head in her hands and leaned in to kiss me. I quickly turned my head away, rejecting her. Chloe froze for a second, then chuckled. What's wrong? Mad that I didn't check in with you yesterday? I told you it was a girl's night. What was there to worry about? I didn't say anything. I just turned onto my side, away from her, and closed my eyes again. Chloe kept talking as she snuggled closer, wrapping her arms around me again. Wow, so you're actually mad at me. Even if I didn't check in, I should be the one who's mad. You, on the other hand, didn't ask about me once. Just slept soundly at home. Are you really that unconcerned about me? She rolled me over again, curling up against my chest. All right. It's my fault. I shouldn't have neglected you to hang out with my friends. You can relax. You know how much I love you. Why would I ever mess around? Besides, it was a girl's night. There weren't any guys there. A jolt went through me. The video was still on my phone. Every word out of Chloe's mouth now was a lie. She had become terrifying. Chloe didn't notice my reaction. Her hand began to move over my body. Searching, I felt hot breath on my ear. I opened my eyes to see Chloe looking at me, her gaze hungry. Ethan, I want you, she whispered, her hand closing around me. The sensation snapped me back to reality. I shot up in bed, startling her. How could she be so shameless? Did Julian get her all worked up last night and not finish the job, and now she wanted me to put out the fire? Chloe stared at me, completely bewildered. My face was dark, but I remained silent. What's your problem? Are you serious? Just because I didn't check in with you last night? You're going to make a big deal out of something so small. I turned to look at her, my eyes cold. She realized then that I was genuinely angry and switched to her usual tactic of acting cute. Did you read too many novels or something? Thinking a girl's night is some kind of wild party? Let me guess, you think that just because there were no guys, we must have hired some male models, right? Oh, please. Your imagination is running wild, and you think way too little of me and my friends. You really do love me, don't you? Freaking out and imagining the worst the second you can't reach me. I was so furious I was speechless. She had absolutely no idea that I knew everything. And here she was, still putting on a show, right? She didn't hire a male model. She did something far more disgusting. You're the one with a wild imagination, not me. I snapped. I scrambled out of bed. Every second I spent near Chloe felt dirty. Her expression soured. She couldn't figure out why I was reacting so strongly and tried to change the subject. Anyway, you must have picked up the test results, right? Everything's okay, I hope. I've just been living a little irregularly. It's not like I could have some serious illness, right? I didn't answer. My continued coldness on a serious topic finally wore her patience thin. Are you kidding me? Ethan Cole, you're a grown man. Why are you acting like a teenage girl throwing a tantrum? It's not a big deal. Anyone would think I'd actually done something to wrong you. I turned to her, my voice like ice. You're right. You did wrong me. Chloe was stunned. Her eyes met mine, and for the first time, she looked away. After a few seconds of silence, she regained her composure and shot back. What's that supposed to mean? Are you accusing me of something? I gave you everything. I'm a girl from a wealthy family who gave up her entire lifestyle to live a normal life with you. What do you think I was after? And now you're accusing me? Have you no shame? Her voice started to crack, tears welling up on command. I sighed deeply. Chloe's ability to turn the tables was truly remarkable. Without concrete proof, she would deny everything to her dying breath. But I wasn't ready to show my hand just yet. That would only make me look pathetic. Chloe knew how to find people's weak spots. I couldn't win in a direct confrontation with her. You know what you did? I said. Chloe retorted, you can ask my friends. I gave a disdainful laugh. Everyone knows friends stick together. Chloe knew I rarely went to bars. She was smart, even choosing a small, out-of-the-way place. But fate had other plans. Leo just happened to have picked the same spot. None of them had noticed a pair of eyes watching their every move. The air grew tense. Chloe maintained her innocence, and I held onto the truth. Neither of us would back down. The once loving and sweet couple was a thing of the past. A phone rang, breaking the stalemate. It wasn't mine. Chloe glanced at her phone, a flicker of panic in her eyes. The old me would never have noticed it. But like I said, once you see the cracks, you see everything. No doubt it was Julian. Chloe didn't answer, just silenced the call. Aren't you going to get that? Why not? Feeling guilty. I said bluntly. What do I have to feel guilty about? It's just a spam call. Why would I answer it? Ethan, how long are you going to keep this up? With that, Chloe got up and went to the bathroom. I suspected she was texting Julian back. She came out about 10 minutes later. I didn't need to check. Her next words gave her away. I think we have a trust issue, Chloe said, looking at me. This is a big problem, one that could lead to us breaking up. So, I think we should take some time apart. Give each other some space to cool down. Chloe wasn't asking for my permission. She was delivering a verdict. She started packing a bag, completely ignoring me. From beginning to end, I was never given a choice. I didn't understand why she didn't just break up with me. Was it like she said on the balcony that day, that she wasn't done playing with me yet? I didn't say a word, didn't try to stop her. If she wanted to go, fine by me. I didn't care. I'll be back in a while. I hope I'll hear an apology from you by then, she said, slamming the door behind her, as if venting her frustration. I couldn't help but laugh. She was the one who had messed up, yet somehow she expected me to apologize. Be back in a while. Sorry. You might be back, but I won't be. The afternoon Chloe left, I packed up all of my belongings. The photos of us, anything that served as proof of our life together, I threw it all away. All that was left were her personal items. I looked around at my work, satisfied. There was no trace of me ever having lived here. The place was all Chloe now. I immediately went to the office and signed the transfer papers. Leo, of course, was right there with me. In fact, he was the most eager of us all. It was easy to understand. As a native New Yorker, he was bored and wanted a change of scenery. Did you and Chloe break up? Leo asked. Not really, I guess. She just said we should take some time apart. Didn't mention breaking up, I replied casually. Are you really okay with letting her go? After all, you loved her so much. Dude, you're unbelievable. When I found out she cheated, you were the one screaming at me to break up with her. Now you're saying this? Are you trying to mess with me? I was just worried you were in too deep, Leo said, scratching his head awkwardly. And why didn't you blow up at her about what happened? How can you be so patient? Are you a saint or something? I answered him directly. It was tough at first, but then I thought it through. She was my girlfriend, not my wife. Would I really lose? Leo gave me a thumbs up. Enlightened. We talked about Julian Reed later. Leo was well-connected and knew a lot. Julian was a rich kid, but in a city like New York, guys like him were a dime a dozen. His family had some money, and he was decent-looking, but he was a notorious player, a fact well-known in his circle. When he told Chloe he wasn't into inexperienced girls, it was just a classic move to play hard to get. Chloe's family was on another level, at least 2 tiers above Julian's, and she was as beautiful as any campus queen. I had to admit, I first agreed to date her because of her looks. How could Julian resist? No one expected Chloe to actually take him seriously. She used me for practice to level up her relationship skills. I heard Julian was kicking himself for it, spending his days drinking at bars. So, you're saying Julian is hitting on my girl now to try and get in with her family? I asked. Can't rule out that he just has a thing for other guys' girls, Leo replied with a smirk. We looked at each other and laughed. We both knew exactly what that meant. 3 days after signing the papers, I was on a flight to Austin. No time wasted. The moment I stepped off the plane, I took a deep breath. Yes, this was it. The smell of clean air. The constant feeling of unease that had clung to me in New York was finally gone. The South was definitely for me. I've always been adaptable. Chloe's betrayal no longer affected me, and I quickly threw myself into my work. There was a small incident in the middle of all this. One of Chloe's friends posted on her Instagram. There was no emotional caption, just a series of scenic photos. Thanks to her, I found out what Chloe had been up to for the past couple of weeks. She had gone on a trip with her friends. And, of course, Julian was there too. I don't know if this friend did it on purpose or not, but one of the photos in her post was of Chloe and Julian holding hands, leaning against each other. They looked like a happy, loving couple. I wasn't sure if she had forgotten I was on her friends list or just forgot to block me. On a whim, I liked the post. Less than an hour later, the post was gone. A small smile played on my lips. I had a pretty good idea of what was going on. Now, it was just a matter of seeing if Chloe would try to explain herself. I waited for 2 days. Nothing. Sure enough, these days the term best friend is basically a synonym for frenemy. No wonder people came up with that word. Not everyone in Chloe's circle had her best interests at heart. A month passed before I heard from Chloe. Early one morning, I was woken up by a frantic phone call. The person on the other end was furious, but all I felt was a growing sense of relief. Ethan, why is the apartment empty except for my stuff? Chloe demanded. I answered calmly, oh, because I moved out. I took all my things. Moved out? What do you mean you moved out? Isn't this your home? I was gone for 1 month and you pulled this stunt. Are you trying to break up with me? Did you even ask me? Didn't I say we needed time to cool off? Chloe's voice was strained. I could imagine her reaction, coming back from a fun trip with a guy she liked, only to find her home had been emptied. What a buzzkill. There's no need for that. Since you only have eyes for Julian, what difference would more time make? I said, laying it all bare. The line went silent. I could almost picture the shock on her face. After a long pause, Chloe finally asked, how did you know? Over a month ago, when you and your friend were talking on the balcony. I heard everything, I said. Let me explain. That was all in the past. Ever since I started dating you, I cut off all contact with him, Chloe said hurriedly, ridiculously assuming that all I knew was about her using me for practice, and that I was completely clueless about her and Julian's recent makeout session. I wasn't going to play all my cards just yet. That was my ace in the hole, my final trump card. At this point, is there any need for explanations? You like Julian, so I'll do you a favor. Let's break up. After holding in for a month, I finally said the words. The tables had turned. I was the one in control now. You want to break up with me? Chloe's voice was filled with disbelief. I repeated my answer. I don't believe you. Where are you? If you have the guts, say it to my face. Sorry, I'm not in New York anymore. And whether I say it to your face or not doesn't really matter. The meaning is the same. How dare you, Ethan Cole? How dare you be the one to break up with me without my permission? You don't have the right. If anyone's going to do the dumping, it should be me. But the thing is, I already did, didn't I? Look, I have to work. I'm hanging up now. I hung up the phone and turned it off. A wave of satisfaction washed over me. I had finally released some of the anger that had been pent up inside me. I knew Chloe. Her pride was immense. She wouldn't let this go easily. I remembered something she had said to her friend. What if he gets all clingy and won't let you go? I laughed out loud. You should never speak in absolutes. Now our roles were reversed. I, the one who should have had a meltdown, had left quietly and with dignity. Instead, it was Chloe who was refusing to let go. I was right. Chloe took her complaint straight to both our parents. After 3 years of dating, both sets of parents had given us their blessing. We were, for all intents and purposes, a married couple without the license. Chloe's parents were reasonable. They didn't blame me, just asked if we had a fight. I had a great deal of respect for my former future in-laws. They had never looked down on me, always treating me as an equal to Chloe. I couldn't bring myself to tell them the truth. I just said I could handle it. My own parents, on the other hand, were infuriating. Chloe's act had been so good that she had completely won them over. They even ordered me to patch things up with her, no matter what she had done. I told them Chloe was in love with someone else. They argued that it was because I hadn't been paying enough attention to her, causing her to stray. I stopped talking to my irrational parents after that. What man could accept being cheated on? It was easy for them to say, because they weren't the ones who got hurt. I always knew what my parents really wanted. I wasn't the only son. I had an older and a younger brother. We were all just ordinary country folk. They hoped I would marry into money. As if to make a point, Chloe called again. So, are we getting back together? But you have to apologize to me first. Otherwise, I will never forgive you for disappearing without a word. Chloe was so sure of herself. She had no idea how big of a mistake she had made. Get back together? Not in this lifetime. Think about what you said. Why are you the one being so clingy now? Isn't a clean break better? I didn't waver for a second. I knew it was a pit, and I wasn't about to jump in. It would be insane. Why are you being so cruel? Just because I used to have a crush on Julian? Chloe was losing her patience. She was finally realizing that I was immune to her tactics now. That's part of it. But there's more, and you know it. I don't need to explain anything to you. Ethan, I'm just now realizing how petty you are. You can't let even the smallest thing go. Chloe's words finally pushed me over the edge. I roared into the phone, losing control. I'm petty? Chloe, are you serious? Put yourself in my shoes. How would you feel after being played for 3 years? Could you just let it all go? I'm not a damn saint. I can't just brush everything off. But Ethan, did you really lose anything? Chloe shot back. I gave you everything I had, too. Was it only you who was putting in the effort? And that's what hurts the most. For Julian, you were willing to throw yourself away. Was it worth it? I'm not scared of the past. I'm scared of the future. I'm scared you'll cheat on me with Julian behind my back. Julian behind my back. I won't. I love you now. Hearing those words, I hung up the phone and blocked her number. I deleted her from all my contacts. Chloe's actions were disgusting. What about what happened with Julian? Why did she have to say she loved me? Wasn't she just a classic manipulator? I thought blocking Chloe would be the end of it. A week later, I was back to square one. Only this time, it was far more intense. Chloe had found me in Austin. Ethan, can we talk? She was acting strange today. After everything that had happened, she shouldn't have been this calm with me. She deliberately stroked her belly, a maternal glow in her eyes. A thought flashed through my mind. Chloe got straight to the point. Ethan, let's get back together. For our baby, let's stop fighting, okay? My eyes widened. This was not what I expected. You didn't. Get rid of it. I asked in disbelief. Chloe suddenly covered her mouth and giggled. So you knew all along. From the test results, right? Why didn't you tell me sooner? I wasn't interested in her other questions. I repeated my first one. Why didn't you get rid of it? Why would I get rid of it? Chloe looked at me as if I were crazy. This is our baby. The fruit of our love. Isn't this what you always wanted? Besides, the doctor said I have trouble conceiving. The chances of me getting pregnant are slim. So this baby is our little miracle. Can you please stop being stubborn? Let's get back together. We'll go home, get married, and raise our child together. Marriage? Impossible. She had to be lying. I shook my head in horror. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. If Chloe had truly felt this way, none of this would have ever happened. No, this isn't right. You were supposed to get rid of the baby for Julian. That fits your script. Weren't you just using me for practice? Why did you get in so deep? I demanded. From the moment I saw her, everything felt wrong. It was as if the story had gone completely off script. Is that really what you think of me? Chloe asked, her eyes welling with tears. Yes, that's the real you. I pulled out my phone and showed her the video from the bar and the screenshots of her friend's Instagram post. This was my trump card. I didn't believe she would have the nerve to keep pestering me after this. Chloe's expression fell, her eyes filled with a confusion I had never seen before. See? This is you. A two-faced, shameless person, flirting with Julian on one hand, while telling me you love me on the other. God, Chloe, you're so fucking disgusting. I've known your secret for a long time. It's pathetic that you kept up the act for so long. Do you have anything to say for yourself? My furious outburst made Chloe shrink back in fear. She kept her head down, letting me hurl insults at her. By the time I had exhausted my anger, the rage finally subsided, and a sense of calm washed over me. Throughout it all, Chloe remained silent, her shoulders shaking with quiet sobs. I felt no pity for her. She had brought this all on herself. After what felt like an eternity, she looked up, her eyes red and swollen. Her voice was hoarse. I'm not going to make any excuses. I know I wronged you. Because of that old obsession, I hurt you in a way I can't take back. I know I don't deserve to be forgiven, but I hope you can give me a chance. Give our child a chance. I swear I will never have anything to do with Julian again. I'll only love you for the rest of my life. Chloe's gaze was sincere, her face a mask of sorrow and pleading. My response was brutal. In your dreams. Your love makes me sick. I will never, ever forgive you. Get out, and don't ever let me see you again. I turned my back on her, ignoring her desperate cries and pleas. Even after I'd walked a long way, I could still hear her shouting, "Ethan, I won't give up on you." A sarcastic smile crossed my face. A love that comes too late is cheaper than dirt. You were the one who used me for practice, so how did you end up being the one who fell the hardest? An entire year passed without any news from Chloe. Life gradually returned to normal, as if she had never been a part of it. In that year, Leo and I were promoted to senior management at the Austin branch. Our futures looked bright. During that time, I started dating again. She was from Austin, and while she wasn't as stunning as Chloe, she had the gentle warmth unique to Southern women. I like her a lot. Maybe this was what I had been looking for all along. After 6 months of dating, I was planning to propose. I didn't want to make the same mistake twice, didn't want to leave things to chance. But then, Chloe reappeared. She was holding a baby that looked to be about 2 or 3 months old. She grabbed my hand, refusing to let go, and kept repeating, "He's yours. If you don't believe me, we can get a paternity test." She had once again thrown my entire life into chaos. Completely and utterly.